Chapter 16. I carried my costume into the theater. I was still wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. I wasn't going to change until the last minute. I could only imagine what torture the full-body jumpsuit would inflict. As I rounded the corner to enter the backstage area, I heard Lupier talking in harsh whispers to Katerina. He spotted me as I entered. His smile of greeting disintegrated as he surveyed my oversized sweatpants and scorched skin. His lips tightened into a thin line. Katerina barked with laughter.
Did anyone order lobster?
Katerina, we'll talk later.
Lupier said in a tone that directed her to disappear.
We'll settle this later,
she said. Before she sauntered out the door, she smiled sweetly at me.
By the way, Nadia, dinner with Grayson was wonderful. The best part was dessert.
I glared at her as she retreated out the door. Why was Katerina here? I asked.
It's not important. What happened to you?
I fell asleep in the sun.
You fell asleep in the Vegas sun. Are you stupid?
My teeth ground together. No, I'm not. It was an accident.
You look ridiculous.
He gestured to me.
Like a ridiculous raccoon. How could you do this?
His eyes zapped to my raccoon eyes.
You are no longer Bella and no longer my assistant. You will be the one to disappear.
Not into the fire, I gulped. I'm already burnt to a crisp. I watched anger twist his face. His jaw was rigid and his eyes were narrow. Every muscle twitched. I wondered about his anger. Surely it couldn't all be because I was burnt. He already knew I was a disaster waiting to bring his stage to its knees. So, why the anger? My eyes glanced over to where Katerina had exited, realizing he wasn't forthcoming about Katerina.
No, not the fire. You deserve the scorpion coffin.
My heart froze into an ice cube. The what?
The scorpion coffin. They will not harm you unless you don't disappear.
I don't know how to disappear.
Yvette will show you. I am tired of you. Go.
I refuse to do it. His eye twitched.
You will do it because I have a contract with you for this performance.
His smooth Italian accent slipped, revealing he was 100% Vegas.
We've already sold out the performance. If you cancel, you'll have to pay the ticket sales loss.
How much?
20,000.
I swallowed. You said the scorpions won't hurt me?
As long as you disappear, you'll be safe.
I nodded.
Get out of my sight.
As I turned to leave, he called.
There will be no pie for you.
At least there was a silver lining. No pie. I found Yvette's dressing room and listened at the door just in case she was entertaining again. I didn't want to interrupt her a second time, especially since she had to teach me to properly disappear before scorpions stung me to death. She needed to be extra happy. When I didn't hear anything, I knocked.
Come in,
she said. I opened the door and peeked in.
Oh, it's you,
she said.
I was hoping it was Jason.
I could come back.
Come on in. He hasn't been sniffing around my door as much. I think he's a little afraid of seeing you here. Jason's not one for office gossip. Between Katerina hanging out and you assisting Lupier, it's getting a little too close for his comfort.
Are you a couple? She smirked.
We keep each other company.
Lupier sent me here. I need to learn the scorpion trick. Her eyes slid to me.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
Did you refuse to sleep with him?
I would have refused, but he became furious when he noticed my sunburn.
You look like a burnt raccoon.
That's what he said. Also, no pie for me. Her head fell back as she laughed.
Be happy.
I am.
Let's get started. You're going to need time to practice this little number.
There are only a couple of hours before showtime, I pointed out.
Start praying.
Lupier's fake accent amplified on stage grated my nerves. The show had started 30 minutes ago, and my number was next. I carefully put on the red costume, wincing as the material pricked at me. I breathed in and out to help reduce my stage fright, but somewhere between in and out, I hyperventilated. I wheezed in air, grasping at my chest. Playing magician with scorpions made my knees lock with terror. Yvette didn't use the scorpions during the rehearsal. She said it would rile them. I didn't complain. I've only seen a scorpion once, and it was behind glass at the zoo. Even when safely behind glass, they made me freeze with fear. A stagehand pushed me.
You're on.
Oh, God. I hurried through the curtain toward my impending doom. Lupier ignored me as he addressed the audience with a fantastical tale about the horrors of scorpions. He weaved in colorful imagery about those who had died from the mighty scorpion's tail. I'd nearly wet myself by the time he finished the story.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Nadia Wolf will tempt fate and lie in a glass coffin while scorpions invade. Will she escape the coffin or be buried in it?
The lights lowered. A blinding spotlight lit up the coffin. Fast, suspenseful music filled the air. Lupier's words raced through my head. Arachnid, venom, stinger, tail, thousands, deadly and excruciating pain. I timidly walked, what could be my final steps, to the glass coffin and climbed in. Once I was in, Lupier closed the lid with a sneer and padlocked it for everyone to see. His hand edged over the box containing the scorpions.
Will she escape or die?
He asked with a haunting tone. With one fluid motion, he slid open the door, releasing the scorpions into a short glass tunnel that led to the coffin. I gaped down at my feet as the scorpions scurried toward me with their tails in the air. All I had to do was press the smoke button, which would release smoke into the coffin, hiding me from the audience. I'd instantly fall into the trapdoor below me. I was supposed to wait until the scorpions were close enough to freak out the audience. Forget the audience. I was freaked out. I pressed the button. I pressed it again. Nothing happened. Lupier stared hard at me, but smiled for the audience. I pressed the button rapidly. Nothing happened. The first scorpion entered the coffin, followed by a few more. Led by the tunnel, they were coming right at me. They scurried around my legs and up on my pants. With each crawling leg of the scorpion, my heart beat faster until it was wild and out of control. I had to escape. I banged on the top of the coffin lid. "Get me out of here!" I screamed. I pushed against the lid. It didn't budge. A scorpion crawled on my neck with its tail high in the air. Its legs prickled my skin, sending spikes of ice down my spine. I screamed as I frantically clawed at the glass. My coffin. Lupier stared wide-eyed into the coffin. I gritted my teeth and slammed my knee into the coffin lid. The glass splintered. I pushed through the glass shards. My actions were no longer under my control. Adrenaline surged through me as I exploded through the remaining glass, throwing myself on Lupier. We crashed to the ground. The scorpions fell off me and onto Lupier. His face bleached white as he screamed in a frequency higher than a dog whistle. He shot up, flinging me off him, and bolted backstage. The curtain fell. An arm looped around my waist, heaving me to safety.
Another fabulous show,
Grayson said, ushering me from the scorpions scurrying around the stage. Stagehands surrounded them. No one went close enough to capture one. I held onto Grayson as the adrenaline rush wore off. "Where did you come from?"
The front row.
"The scorpions."
You don't have to worry about them.
The trapdoor didn't open.
I rather figured that when you vaulted from the glass coffin.
He surveyed my face and arms.
You have a couple of cuts from the glass. I bet your knee is all banged up too.
I didn't feel anything. I was numb.
Let's get you out of the costume and into your clothes. You'll feel better.
I nodded and led the way to the dressing room. Lupier was rounding the corner.
You, raccoon!
He shouted.
You've ruined me.
"Your coffin didn't work."
My equipment is in perfect condition. You're the bumbling idiot who can't even press a button. I'm going to sue you. You're going to be sorry you stepped foot onto this stage.
I was sorry the minute I met you. He let out a strangled sound.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Grayson shoved a business card into his hand.
Have them call my lawyers.
Lupierre's eyes rounded as he inspected the card forced on him. He sputtered curses as he turned on his heels. Thank you, I said.
You're welcome. I think you've had enough fun for one day. Let's get out of here.
This is fun?
It is. Every moment with you has been nothing less than entertaining.
Gee. I don't know if I'm going to be able to top this performance. You might need to lower your expectations.
Not likely.
I hurried into the dodgy casino wearing my t-shirt and sweatpants. I was a hopeless mess and had no time for fixing up. I had to meet Daigor. David was supposed to tell me what to do, but I hadn't seen him. Hopefully, he was somewhere in the casino. I walked towards the high-stakes room. An attendant stopped me before I could enter.
You can't go in there.
He said. Why not? I was here last night. He inspected my face and outfit.
I don't think so.
I was here. I'm supposed to meet Daigor tonight. He frowned.
Wait here.
He entered the high-stakes room and whispered into Daigor's ear. Daigor nodded. I plodded into the room. Daigor scanned me with hard eyes.
What is this?
He asked.
Is this a trick?
This isn't a trick. I spent too much time in the pool. Oh, I'm supposed to be acting right now. I smiled and raised the perkiness of my voice. Big Daddy was the one who always rubbed suntan lotion on me. If you were there to do it, I wouldn't have gotten burnt. Now my clothes hurt. I'd rather be naked. His expression relaxed.
So your face will get pretty again soon, right?
I gave him the biggest doe eyes and trembling lips I could muster. I was even able to squeeze out a tear. It helped that my knee was throbbing.
Listen, baby, we can try this and see how it works, but you need to pretty up again. Really soon.
I nodded.
All right, go home.
He said.
Oh, and tell Caleb to back off the hunt. As of now, you're my property. And that other guy you were sleeping with last night, tell him I'll kill him if he comes near you again. I let him off the hook last night, but no man except me can have you now.
My mouth opened. A slick smile spread across his face.
Don't be so surprised. I know all about you and your lovers, Nadia Wolf. I even know your cat.
Where's Gus?
Let's say he's taking a little vacation. As long as his owner keeps herself in line, he'll make a speedy return.
A real tear bubbled to the surface.
Go home, baby. I'll be in contact.
What about the money? His jaw tightened.
You can tell your friend, Grayson Miller, I'm not giving him any information.
You said you would help.
The tables have shifted, baby. I have your cat, I know where you live, and I know who you sleep with. You're mine now.
I don't think so.
One word from me and your cat disappears. If that isn't enough to make you understand, people will start disappearing.
He said with a sly smile.
How about old Roy?
I'll go to the police.
And tell them what? That I threatened you? You can't prove anything happened. And baby, if you go to the police, I'll slip information about the counterfeit money at the Lost City Casino. Your sweet Grayson will be ruined.
I turned to bolt.
Remember, baby, I'm watching you.